It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. So this is the next part in trying to get that Carter No.7 plane up and running so I can convert it into a shooting plane to use with my shooting board so that I can complete making this pallet reclaimed timber wrist rest. Long journey, lots of skills learnt, practice, tools being restored. So what we've done so far is we've cleaned up the plane, de-rusted it, and the handles need a bit of work. So here's the front knob. It has quite a bit of rust that's crusted on it, and then the actual rear tote needs a bit of work around that. It's had a bit broken off on it, so we probably need to attach something to that maybe, or perhaps just smooth it off because, you know, having that curve is probably not absolutely necessary anyway. The actual bolts for these are with the rest of the plane down here at the moment in situ, and they should be okay. So front and the rear tote over there, right? So I think probably the easiest thing to do first of all is we're going to clean out the rust here. I've just got a straight up round file and we will give that a bit of a clean. Should be pretty straightforward. What happened when I originally took this off was that the bolt was turning in here, but it didn't want to come out because there was quite a bit of rust crust that was actually attaching it to the handle itself. So I did manage to break it by using just this punch and gave it a good tap on the end of it, and it did punch it out. So that was successful. But what I need to do is really sort of just get into that top there. That's probably a bit wide. I don't know if the brush is going to get in there or not, and clean out a lot of that rust where I can. Now I'm just thinking maybe a screwdriver might do a better job there to just, yeah, there we go, scrape that out. Do I have my slightly wider one? Is that going to fit? Yeah, there we go. Get rid of all that rust that is accumulated in there, and that way we reduce the likelihood of that happening again. Of course, it's not impossible for it to rust again. There's a lot of air traffic happening today. Another helicopter's gone by. Right, so let's just do that. Clean. Now, just grab a bit of sandpaper here. Let's let me think about. Wow, that's a good diameter there. So I'm just going to wrap it around that. Is that going to work? Is it too wide? It's doing something. Definitely see it's taken some stuff off there. Is that just going to be easier to do it like this? Yeah. Okay. There's still some there. I really do want to try and clean out as much of that as I can. So maybe just do that. seems to be doing the trick. A lot more of that is falling out. All right, let's just turn it over. Alright, so just having a look inside there. There's still this. All right. Now let's just take that front, screw it out. Let's see. Yeah, that moves quite freely now, which is great. It wasn't doing that at all, so that is excellent. All right, now. So a lot of that original paint is slightly damaged. Kids are back from school, daycare, day out. So what I'm doing now is I'm just giving it a light sand on some of those bare exposed areas. Yes, what is it there? You need to water the plants, miss. Remember? Alright, well, go on. So I want to try and leave as much of that original that is on, but I do want to take where it's kind of in big patches have come off. I want to just give it a sand back down to what I can to the timber, so I can apply my wax paste to it. So the bottom here is, while the actual paint has chipped, I don't really feel like I want to get too far down there and take it all off. But up here where it's a bit more exposed, I think that's where I want to be able to just, you know, get it back to some of that wood, and then that way I can get a bit of that wax paste into it. So I guess it's a bit of a, you know, well, not a complete restoration, but still leaves some of the old, but still helps it along in its new life. Obviously, when you grip it, you're going to be doing a lot of that work on the top of it. So, you know, that's actually had a section gouged out of it entirely. It's been damaged. So that's ripe for me to get in there and smooth out that section. There you go. Okay, now get it off. So now we're just going to apply this really liberally. This will clean, lift, get in. Going to use the actual screw, the bolt, to run it, and then I'm going to stick it down there and back out, so I can get it really well worked into the top there. and also all down the inside, because I want to make sure that over time that it's also not going to crust up again inside, because later on you know, I may want to be taking it apart to clean it, to Japan it, so I want to make sure that I've got a means to actually not have to spend all the effort to restore it and re-clean it into a good serviceable condition again. So that's a really liberal amount that I'm applying in here, but for good reason. Now, not all that's going to absorb in straight away. It's going to take a little while, and then of course it's still got to dry, so that will take time in itself. But where I've sort of cleaned it off, you can see that really nice wood grain actually. So much so that I would, if there was more of this missing, kind of like on the handle here, I would probably be more inclined to take all of that off and show the really nice grain on that. But because there's still so much of the black down, at least on the bottom half of this, I kind of just want to keep it. So that's where we're going to go with that for now. Now I really should try and buff it in. So this was the cloth that we were using the other day to do this, so that's okay. This is still very heavily waxed, and I'm just going to give that a really good, that warms it up, warms up the wax and the timber a little bit, so wherever it can, it'll try and get into it. It's not bad. Okay, so let's just have a look. Yeah, it looks pretty tacky inside there, so that's fantastic. We'll leave that there for now. Just put that back on the side, and then let's go to work on this. Actually, we're going to put this over here. We might as well put it on. Maybe. Will it go on? Yeah. Okay. Voila. Okay, so that handle is done. For now, let's cover that, keep that on that side, away from what we're about to do. So I'm going to take this off. Nice and quick. Almost there. There you go. Right, so there's some along the grip. Short work of that. off first so I can see where we're at. There's a lot of black dust there. Just take off the really old dirty surface as well. Won't be able to get into that curve with this right now, but we'll get into that in a moment. Use every available surface on this bit of sanding paper. Right. Okay, let's get into some of these. Clean up the top. That was quick. I'll clean up this. So this bit's going to be interesting because it's not regular shaped. It's cut in, it's at a weird angle, the fibers are all uneven, so I may actually just have to maybe just chisel it so it's down and flat, and then we'll have to see how that goes, because when you push with it, you're really going to be going with the lower half, right? You're kind of applying a downward pressure. So this up bit here is really more decorative than not, at least in my opinion, on how the handles have felt on the other planes that I've got and that I've used. So probably not as big a deal. Gosh, that's really frustrating. There we go. Can get into the curves. To clean that up. And the bottom. Not that that really matters too much. Not going to see it, but at least I want to make that smooth out if I can. Okay. All right. That is at least nice and smooth. Okay. Did I sharpen this one? I swear I did. This is very hard. There we go. It's even harder because of the fact that I don't have it clamped into anything. Might have to just use the file on it instead. This one might be better for it. What I can do is once I file this flat, I could actually glue a small chunk of scrap that will fit that, you know, like there, and then shape it, file it, rasp it to actually suit the shape that I want it to shape. I just have to make sure that I'm not going to cover that with the wax paste, because that's going to just inhibit the glue potentially from getting a good bond to these surfaces. nearly there. That is very, very shallow. That's got the tiniest amount there to go. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty much taken it out. All right. That bottom part's still not fantastic, but let's just give it a quick run on the file. At least that will flatten it out some. Smooth it out some. Okay, so that is a much cleaner, more straightforward looking bit of handle right now. So let's just mask off this top bit for now. Do that very quick and dirty. Use that bit of scrap that I have. Definitely not the sharpest knife that I've got, because I'm just too lazy and cheap to change out blades on it frequently. Okay, so that gives it a little bit of protection. clean that off. Wasn't too concerned about rust in the actual holes, but I'll just give that a light clean up as well. There is stuff coming out of that, just dirt, I guess, in general. Look at that. Black paint, grime, dirt. Okay, so let's clean this up first a bit. There's a lot of horrible dust there. Seems like I've taken a bit of skin off my knuckle there, so I'm going to have to clean and disinfect my knuckles later. Get a clean bit of paper, just to take some of that off before I get into the wax paste too much. I'll use that chance to give this also a wipe down with a cleaner bit of paper. I'll take these two out. Give these guys a bit of a run. All around. Into there. There you go. Spin that around. Get it inside. Need to get a good blob of that. Let's try and get that to push the cloth in to wipe it about some. And spread it a bit better. There we go. Okay, so that's nice and greased up. Now this side's a little bit tricky because I've got that covered up, so I'm kind of just going to have to go from this end a little bit at least. Let's just get some into the bottom there. I can be generous with it. Yeah, it's coming up pretty dirty, but yeah, it's coming up there. Look at all that muck that's in there. Well, it is going to help clean. What I should do is actually cut kind of like that, but not. It was not the most successful cut. Probably could be better if it was sharp. I'm sure that some of you are probably telling me that right now. Change it to a sharper blade and you won't have these problems. Well, yes, you're probably right. There we go. All right, so let's get another good amount of this on. We'll go this way. Yeah. Get that all in. Didn't really take the effort to take the paint out of the inside of that, did I? Ah, this tape is not working very well, at least on this corner. But you know what? I can always just sand that back later anyway, you know, if necessary. And then I can apply, look at that, yummy, the glue onto that surface. Wax paste is not the end of the world as far as that is concerned. All right, so let's get some fresh paste onto this handle. Look at that magic. It just brings out that detail. Love it. Love it heaps. Alright, so I've got plenty on there. Let's give it a really good rub down. That end grain color and structure is so much more different compared to the side on of that, isn't it? And there's still some paint there, and I don't know how deep that's actually gone in, because I did give it a really good sand, that's for sure. Wow. Look at that. How nice is that? You know what? Let's just take this off anyway. See how it feels on the plane, and then we can decide if we want to actually do something about that later. Because I already, you know, smoothed it out. So we might as well give it a... It's got a really sharp edge there, so I might need to round that off if I'm not going to apply anything there, but I can live with that. Just get in there and clean up all that. Okay, so let's get some fresh paste on all over. We can drop that in. Let's get some fresh paste on to that one. We can also drop that in, and then we'll put it into position. And I'm going to have to lift this entire thing out so we can actually get to it proper. So let's close that. I'll put that over here for now. Let's clear some space. You can go back into your home. Sanding dust. Do I have an extraction system yet? No, I do not. Would I like one? I would love one. Do I have space for one? I do not. So that is probably in answer to some of the comments that I might get that I need to get one. Alright. Bit of a race around the clock at the moment because very shortly I need to wrap up because the battery is probably going to run out of the camera, and also because I need to take my daughter to piano lessons. So let's grab the whole thing out now, and let's have a look. Got to that. Let's take that off. And let's take that off so I can move that, and then kids fighting around the world. Okay, so that's gonna pull it in line, and then that a good tighten, but not over tighten. That seems to be already down. That, yeah, there's a bit of movement on that. I would say that's inside the handle, so there's not too much I can do around that besides potentially take that out and pack it with something. Yeah, that play there is definitely because of the thickness of that shaft. So I might wrap some paper that I'd soak in some paste, and then that way that will also stop any corrosion. I can tighten that one nice and tight. I can still turn that. I'll give a little bit more. Yeah, all right. Now, the next thing that I have to do is take the notches out of this, clean it, sharpen it, and then we're almost ready to actually give this a run. How exciting is that going to be? How exciting is that going to be? All right, so let's just straighten that out. Come on, you can do it. There we go. And there it is. I'm going to just give that some more paste lightly with the residue on this rag, just to make sure that it's still okay. Now I do actually have a tin can here that I am planning to turn into a rag in a can oiler, a la Paul Sellers, but I need to actually get some machine oil, some sewing machine oil. I don't actually have any that I can put into it right now, so I haven't prepared the rag, but we'll give that a crack as well in a separate video, and then that can be applied to the sole of the plane to help how that runs. But look at that, absolute beauty. Probably missed a bit of the paint there, but you know what, that's okay. That can be dealt with later. Got some finger marks on the wax there. All right, so that concludes this part of fixing up, cleaning up, wax pasting the handles, and we'll end it there. And I'm just going to try and back out. Just wondering if the lever cap is very tight. Well, it's moving. Could be the lever cap is just a bit too tight. Yeah, okay. But just back that all the way out. Yep. There you go. All right, well, thanks very much for coming along and checking out this video, and we'll catch you on the next part, where I will go back to sharpen this, put it back together, and we'll give it a run. I probably won't do a video on the actual sharpening of the blade, because if you want to see me sharpening, I've done that for testing the Veritas Mark II honing guide. So I'll just do that in my own time, and then we'll bring it back together to wrap up on this, cutting a bit of wood. So, oh no, this hot dog. All right, we'll sharpen it, we'll cut a bit of wood, and then we'll move on to the hot dog. Okay, thanks very much, and of course, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.